Praise the Lord, everybody. This is yours, Pastor Martin. I'm reaching you today from Alamach, Grace Chapel. We are so much blessed in Alamach at this time. I want to encourage you today to encourage yourself. Learn to encourage yourself. When other people show you their back, when you seek encouragement from other people and you're not encouraged, learn to encourage yourself. I want to tell you today that no one is more influential in your life more than you are, because nobody talks to you more than you talk to yourself. So learn to encourage yourself. We can learn this from David. He always encouraged himself, even when everybody else was not encouraging him. He stood by himself and encouraged himself in the Lord. So learn to encourage yourself. Talking to yourself at times is the best thing you can do. Talking to yourself at times is the best thing that can happen to you, and it is the best thing that you can do to yourself. So keep on talking to yourself. That there is something that comes from you because you are wishing yourself the best, and you want the best in your life, and you want the best in all that you go through. So it is you who is supposed to encourage yourself. It is you who is supposed to uplift yourself internally. Then it will manifest also externally. So it starts inside out. So encourage yourself in every situation and in every manner. Encourage yourself, and God will bless you. I want to tell you a story about the prodigal son that is found in Luke chapter 15 and verse 17, where he came back to his senses and talked to himself and said to himself, I will go back to my father's house. At least there is plenty of food. I can become one of the servants. I can eat comfortably. I can sleep comfortably. So I will go back to my father's house. This is what the prodigal son told himself. Because if he could have asked any other person for advice, many of them could have misled him. Maybe if he went to the swine owner, the swine owner could have seen a loss of labor. So he could not have advised him to go back to his father's house because he lose the labor to his swines. If he could have asked those harlots, those prostitutes that he was with, they could see a loss of a customer. If somebody was coming bringing whatever the money, whatever the exchange for the services, so they could have not given him a sound word. They could not have encouraged him in a good way. So he had to talk to himself. At times, you see, you have to see the people surrounding you and see whether they can give you a good advice. Most of them, they take advantage of your situation, and they cannot even encourage you in a good way. If anything, they can advise you according to their interests, their personal interests. So at times, it is good to talk to yourself. It is good to encourage yourself most of the times. So my dear brethren and sisters, it is time you fed yourself with a good doctrine. It is time that you fed yourself with the true word, with the words that will encourage you in future. It is time to feed yourself with faith that will uplift you when times comes for you to encourage yourself. Again, I want us to look at the woman with the issue of blood that is in Matthew chapter 9 and verse 20 and 21, when she talked to herself, if I touch this garment, if I touch the garment of Jesus Christ, I will be healed. This is what she said to herself. She did not ask from the disciples. Why? Because the disciples could have told her, you are not clean to touch Jesus. According to the customs, according to the laws, you are not fit even in the crowd because of these menses. You are not fit because you're bleeding. They could have given her so many reasons as to why not to touch Jesus Christ or even to come closer to him. So, if she could have asked the other friends, let's say the physicians and all these, they could have told her, this condition cannot be managed by Jesus Christ. We have tried our best. It has not worked. So they could have given her all the reasons not to touch Jesus Christ, not to make a step of faith. At times it is good to encourage yourself. Don't seek advice from everybody. At times it is good to advise yourself, encourage yourself, take a step of faith. It is you who wishes yourself the best. You don't wish yourself to fail. You wish yourself to excel in every ground, in every manner. So it is time to talk to yourself. When you're meditating, you're talking to yourself. And whatever things that you feed your heart with, whatever things that you feed your soul with, these are the things that will talk back to you. We can see these in Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. Let me read with you. This is what it says. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23, it says, "Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the spring of life." So it tells you, keep your heart with all vigilance. Keep it with all vigilance. Don't feed your heart with negative things, because if you feed it with negative things, the time you're going back to it to listen from your heart, it will give you something negative. Feed your heart with things that are positive. Feed your heart with faith. You see, this young man, the prodigal son, he talked to himself. He said, "If I go to my father," because he knew the characters of his father. He knew his father will take him home anyway. Whether a servant or a son, he will take him back. So he had this faith in his father. Otherwise, he could not have thought of going back to his father. So it is a good thing that you feed your heart with vigilance. Don't let anything negative to feed you. You have to be careful what you're feeding your heart with. Don't let your heart be fed with fear. So many people, they have lost control, they have lost their inheritance, they have lost their rights because they fed their heart with fear. We can see this in Numbers chapter 13 and verse 33, 34, when the children of Israel, they said, this is what they thought of themselves as a grasshoppers. That is what they thought of themselves. That is what came into them. They were grasshoppers. So it was a negative feeding. They missed to see how big is their God. And out of these, they never went into the promised land. And for you, feed yourself with the faith. Don't let fear come into your heart. Don't let negativity come into your heart. Don't let pain control your heart. It is time you fed your heart properly. From your heart, it will come. It will flow with the spring of life, according to Proverbs 4 and verse 23. I want us also to look at Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. This is what it says. "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things." If you're careful enough, you have heard me mentioning whatever that is true, honorable, pure, lovely, commendable. These are the things that you have to put in your heart. And you know the opposite of true is lies. Don't feed your heart with lies. Things that are commendable. Because those things are the things that will control you, are the things that will feed you when you want to listen to yourself, when you'll feel the need of talking to yourself. These are the best things that can feed you, because what you will feed yourself with is what will feed you later on. So, my brothers and sisters, like David said in Psalms chapter 105 from verse 1 to verse 3, he said, "Praise the Lord, O my soul." He was talking to his soul. He was the one speaking and his soul was listening. So he said, "Praise the Lord, O my soul, and everything that is in me." So he was talking to himself. David is known to be a great king because most of the time he talked to himself. Not that everything that you talk to yourself will work out good. If you feed yourself negatively, your talking will be negative. Even those people commit suicide. They have fed their soul, they have fed their heart with negativity. And when the time came for them to encourage themselves from inside, there was nothing positive to encourage them. It was only discouragement that they fetched from their heart, because that is what they fed their heart with. They fed their heart with negative things, and when it comes a time when it arises for you to get from your heart, you'll get the negative that you fed it with. So it will discourage you, it will not encourage you. Learn to feed your heart well, and God bless you as you continue encouraging yourself. Shalom.